Assalamu alaikum dear students. This is Department of English Government Postgraduate College Attak. I am Nasir Ali Shah. Students, we are reading the second chapter of the textbook using the scientific method. You know, in this chapter the writer has told us about the different benefits or advantages which we are getting from modern science or scientifically and technically advanced conditions in this present age. Under the different headings the writer has discussed in this chapter the fields of life, different fields of life in which there has been a great improvement due to science or the use of scientific method. In our previous lecture we have read so far that in the field of medical science different diseases have been overcome over the past century or 2 centuries. The writer has compared the condition of diseases which were present or prevalent in different societies about 200 years ago. He has compared those conditions with the present age, and in the present age those diseases which were considered in the past to be very horrible and dangerous or deadly diseases, they are no more to be found in our society in this modern age, or even if they are present they can be cured easily due to modern scientific methods of cure and modern medicine. So in the field of medical science, overcoming the diseases, there has been a remarkable improvement. Today we shall study the next heading. Under the next heading the writer has described the sanitary conditions, and the writer compares the sanitary conditions of the past with the present. The heading is better sanitary conditions. Sanitary means healthy or hygienic conditions. In other words, we may say the conditions of our environment, including starting from our home to our locality, neighborhood, and to our villages or cities. All type of cleanliness in our environment. If there is a proper system of cleanliness in any house or in any locality, that is called to be better sanitary situation or sanitary condition. So the writer says it is difficult to imagine what sanitary conditions in some of our larger cities were like only 100 years ago. Means if we look at the past only 100 years ago into our some of our larger cities here means some of the modern cities of today. If we imagine into some of the modern cities of today what sanitary conditions were about 100 years ago, the writer says that it is very difficult for us to imagine. And what type of conditions were there? He tells us, into the narrow, unpaved and poorly drained city streets, household garbage and other refuse were thrown. It means that 100 years ago into the larger or the present day advanced cities are those modern cities which are very modern technically these days. 100 years ago in those cities the streets were narrow, they were not well built, unpaved, they were unpaved. Unpaved mean they were not well built, or we may say they were not built or constructed with cement where cleanliness could have been easy. So they were unpaved as well, and poorly drained. Poorly drained mean very miserably. Poorly mean miserably. Drained mean having a bad drainage system. Means there was no way of taking the water out of the locality or out of the city streets. So those city streets were narrow, unpaved, and poorly drained. Means there was no proper drainage system. The household garbage and other refuse were thrown. Garbage means rubbish, and refuse means waste material. It means that the streets themselves were already narrow and unpaved and poorly drained, and moreover, the people did not care about the cleanliness of the city streets. They threw their household garbage or all the rubbish and garbage or waste material, any type of rubbish which were present in their houses, they threw them into the streets. So the streets look very ugly or unhygienic or in a very bad condition. Moreover, the next sentence is animals wandered through the streets. Animals generally kept on roaming or wandering through those streets, feeding upon the garbage. They kept on feeding upon or eating those garbage. Outdoor toilets were common, means there were no proper system of toilets into the houses. And outdoor toilets means people used to go to the toilets out of their houses. They were very common. Many of them situated where human waste drained into wells from which people obtained drinking water. Moreover, it is a very horrible situation regarding sanitary conditions that most of the toilets were situated, mean they were present at a place or near the wells, near those wells from which people obtained drinking water. Obtained means they received. The people got drinking water from those wells, and the toilets were situated very near to those wells, and sometimes human waste or those refuse or rubbish or waste material drain into those wells. It means people had to drink or use that contaminated water. The water was not even clean to be used for a household. So this is the condition which the writer has described about 100 years ago, which were present. This condition was present in some of the modern cities of today. Now the writer compares these conditions with the present. It says, today our city streets are paved. Paved mean well built or well made or made of cement. City streets are paved and well drained. Well drained mean they have a well and good drainage system. So today means in this modern age, most of the cities in the world they have paved streets as well as they have a good drainage system, and they are cleaned regularly. Means there are local governments or municipal corporations into the different cities or city governments. There are departments of sanitation that clean the city streets and drains regularly, and they take good care of the sanitary conditions in the city. Moreover, it is against the law to throw garbage into the streets. We have just read that in the past the people used to throw the household garbage or rubbish into the streets carelessly. But today, into the modern cities of the world, it is against the law. Means the laws have been made that no person can throw the garbage into any public place, into the streets or into the parks or any public place. If a person throws garbage into the streets, he is fined heavily. So there are the laws against these crimes. It is considered to be a crime to throw garbage into the streets. Sewage from all sections of our city is carried through sealed pipes to disposal plants. Moreover, there are disposal plants where Disposal plants mean plants which are used to throw away sewage water or rubbish. So, sewage. Sewage mean anything dirty water or any rubbish which is used or which is carried through pipes or drains out of the city streets or out of the populated areas. So that rubbish or unclean, unhygienic water is called sewage. So this rubbish or garbage or unclean or unhygienic water which is carried through drains or pipes, it is sewage. So this sewage is from all sections of a city. All section mean all parts of a city is carried through, mean it is drained through sealed pipes to disposal plants. Mean there are disposal plants where it is carried out of the populated area. It is carried to those disposal plants where it is disposed of, or it is processed and it is made unharmful for life. Through the use of scientific method, it has been demonstrated. Demonstrated means it has been proved. So through the use of science or scientific method, it has been proved that unsanitary conditions cause the spread of diseases like typhoid fever, cholera and dysentery. So through the use of scientific method, it has been demonstrated or proved that unsanitary conditions mean the conditions or situation which is unsanitary, means if there is no proper cleanliness or system of cleaning the city streets, that is called unsanitary conditions. So with the modern knowledge of science or scientific method, it has been proved that if the conditions are unsanitary, it causes the spread of diseases like typhoid fever, cholera and dysentery. These are the names of diseases which we have read earlier. Dysentery means dysentery is a disease of stomach, or in other words we may say in simple word it is called motion. So these are some of the diseases which are called due to unsanitary conditions or unhygienic conditions. Today most city governments have departments of sanitation which keep the cities clean, thereby prevent the spread of certain diseases. And today means in this modern age, in most of the modern cities of the world, the city governments have departments of sanitation, and it is their duty to keep the cities clean, to clean the city streets as well as the drains regularly, and through this cleanliness they prevent the spread of certain diseases. Because in the previous sentence we just read that these certain type of diseases are caused due to unhygienic or unsanitary conditions. So if the conditions are hygienic or clean, so certain diseases can be prevented. Students, this is all for today's lecture. We shall continue reading the text with explanation in our next lecture.